I think about leaving a legacy, like Dave always talks about. Every generation should get better, should get smarter, should get stronger. And when my kids have kids, I want them to look back and be like, hey, let me tell you what my dad or my granddad did to get his family free. He went to where he was a police officer. He worked crazy, insane hours and was always gone. And I want them to be proud and be like, hey, this guy, he took responsibility for his life.
And that's a generation curse that we can say stops here. We, of course, will let them know that so that they know, hey, you don't need to do that. You don't have to go there.
Being a police officer, I come across a lot of people that are victims. And I decided that I didn't want to be a victim because I've seen how victims can be. Sometimes they're downtrodden, they're beat down. They feel like they have no control. We took responsibility for the credit cards, the piled up bills, the stress, the depression. And in turn, it's actually made me a better police officer too, because I go to a lot of domestic calls where, you have couples that are arguing. I can tell them, hey, I know how you feel, I know where you've been. So I can kind of get down with them and kind of recognize with them in their issue. My name is Dexter Pitts, and we live in Louisville, Kentucky, and I am a police officer.
And my name is Christina Pitts, and I am a program manager for an agency that provides residential supports for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities.
We've known each other since the 7th grade, but we actually reconnected a few years ago through Facebook. We just became friends, started driving down to see her in Bowling Green and going to church with her. Next thing you know, we're married and have 2 kids. Yeah. And she's still with me, so. Money is so uncomfortable to talk about, even between people that are married. I mean, the number one cause of divorce in America is money problems. And we wanted to make sure that wasn't gonna be an issue.
In the back of my mind, like, we need to save money, but I'm like, we have joint accounts. We have enough money. I can go out and buy and spend, but really it was not the best place for us. But to be totally honest, even from the way I grew up, we just made enough. We were comfortable where we were, but that's kind of just how it was. So that's where the stress came, definitely. I saw it in my husband, where he was like, I have enough money, but we just have enough.
In my mind, I was okay, but when we got married and things got, they were a little bit tighter with the mortgage and, when we threw in her bills and my bills together, it was real tight. And it just, it got really uncomfortable.
We got married in August, and I called him in November and said, hey, we're pregnant.
She kept telling me that she was pregnant, and I'm just thinking, man, I'm not ready yet. This is not supposed to happen yet. And the next thing you know, I just remember riding around my police car listening to Dave Ramsey on the radio. And then I told her, I was like, I think I'm gonna get his class, and we're gonna do the Financial Peace University. And from then, I dove in. We immediately started making cuts, and I started working extra jobs. And I told her, I think it's time we sell the house. To her, growing up the way she grew up in a very, moderate family, she never really lived in a house, always apartments. But she did not want to let go of this big house and all this space she had. And she saw the vision that I had, and she understood it. Like a good wife, she followed me and believed me in my vision.
But to be honest, again, I was the one dragging my feet. I did not want to do this. It was uncomfortable because that means giving up what I have dreamed about so long of having a house. So I guess he was mostly the saver and I was a spender. He wanted to just cut off everything.
Next thing you know, we sold the house and we moved into a tiny 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment, maybe 800 square feet. And it was on the 3rd floor. And it was a long 3 years we stayed there. We saved a lot of money, but we also paid off most of our debt in that time. Like I said, I was working maybe close to 100 plus hours a week. I would come in and I would go get in a shower, lay down for a little bit and go back out the door and go back to work. Mm-hmm. And every day I would just wake up and look at my wife and look at my little newborn daughter and I'd be like, I gotta do this. Mm-hmm. We're free.
Yeah.
And that's the best part.
Yeah.
I don't have to work like I used to work. It feels wonderful.
Because now he has a choice. Because of course you have working families who are always working, trying to just make ends meet. But now that we have our bills paid, our children are able to see us more, to enjoy those special times. Within that, our children don't feel that stress.
Our kids, they get to see us, do our budget. We put all our money into the envelope system, use the Every Dollar app, and they know what's going on. They might not get a true understanding, but they're seeing it in action. And the more they watch it, the more they're gonna understand when they get older, and they're gonna be able to implement it. We paid off $265,000 worth of debt in about 45 months.
We both made that decision together as a family to stick with it, because it was difficult. It's not easy, but what's ever worth anything if you don't put that much work into it? So this is just encouragement that whatever that amount is, it's nothing greater than what God can help you make it through. And I think it also has widened our scope, because we were looking through a lens this small and we weren't able to see what all we could affect. So now that it's widened, that we're able to see how many people we can bless, how many lives we can touch. So now we can look back and say, it's over. And we have been able to reach and overcome that mountain in our lives, to be able to focus on what's true, which is helping and serving others. And that's what FPU and being free is all about.